career advisor from the College and Career Access Center, Brian Green. Hi, Brian.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Well,
We are creeping into big financial aid season, aren't we?
yeah, and it's a crunched season this year.
Okay.
So it's busy.
There's been some changes.
Yeah, major changes to the FAFSA, so the free application for
Wow. Is
federal
it
student
easier?
aid. It is. Actually, they told us it's the most major revisions they've made in decades. And so I think back decades when I did it was on paper. It was like the bubble and the
took forever.
pencil. Yeah. But in the last 9 years that I've been looking at it, they said that it's going to be a major overhaul. And so I don't embrace change. I've been doing it a certain way for almost 10 years, and I was skeptical. And the minute I did one with the new application, I said, I have to eat my words. It's a lot more streamlined. It's a lot more efficient. A lot of the changes are around security, privacy, confidentiality. So they've split the application in two, kind of. The parent has their own version, the student has their own version. And I would have thought that's going to be really convoluted. That's going to make a lot of headache. But it really does make both applications more intuitive, more streamlined, quick. It's more complicated. So the efficiencies come with the backside of parents and contributors now, as they call them. Anybody contributing on behalf of the student. The steps are a bit more complicated and require a little more description, but it honestly is a lot faster.
That's why we
more
need you and
efficient.
your team.
That's
for sure.
what we do. That's what we do. So
Kids use their phones for their computers. Parents might be using their laptops. Can they do both use that for the form?
They can use their cellular device, their phone, or a laptop. What I've noticed, and typically it opens on October 1st. The start date was pushed back to December 31st. So really, even in February now, we're still getting used to it and seeing it done in different formats. The Chromebook, not a preferred method.
No.
The phone, it's never been very mobile friendly, and it's not gotten any more friendly. But on a laptop or your home computer, it's pretty efficient. I always do tell students, clear out the history, clear out your browsing history, close all the tabs, because it is a temperamental application. And when you get a lot of people on it at the same time, on a national level, there are times a day where it gets bogged down, where it slows, where you'll get that unknown error, which is just a headache. You get 3/4 of the way through and then the red bar, unknown error. So there are ways to do it, but I would say a laptop, and make sure that's the only application you have open.
The annual event on President's Day that you guys open up the doors and welcome in.
Yes, there it is.
Are you going to make your famous barbecue?
Yes, sit on there, enjoy free lunch. I should say free barbecue.
The free famous
from
barbecue.
Chef Verde. Yeah, it'll be on hand. It'll be there, and it's a great event. Our last event was just fantastic. One of the biggest we've had in years, and we're hoping for a similar turnout. I'm assuming with the lines, being pushed back, the December 31st start date. They had their soft launch through January, which became through February. The new date is mid-March to start hearing back from your schools, getting award letters, having everything in place. I believe that this will be a huge event because mid-February is when students are now thinking, okay, the bugs are out, now let's try it now. Because December and January, it was a kind of a rumbly start with it, but we're getting better at it. The system is getting better at it. It's a lot less, down for maintenance. So I'm hoping that a lot of people will turn out, and this will be a really good opportunity.
Yeah, I think save yourself some trouble, and if you have to, drag your kid over there and get it done, because you'll be glad you did.
Absolutely, absolutely. And another thing we've been telling students is there was in years past this creation of your username and password. That's your identity with the Department of Education. You could create that username and password, immediately begin the app, while your identity was in review with the Social Security Administration, making sure you are who you say you are. But now the student and the contributor, I'm trying to get used to saying that word, you want to have those IDs in place, because this year they're doing that verification in real time. So if you come in to our event and you haven't created your username and password, you might create that, and that might be the only thing other than eating fantastic barbecue that you'd be able to do that day. So we're urging students and their parents, their guardians, those contributors to have your IDs set up. That's really easy, going to the website and setting up your username and password, and then on our event day, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, and if there's any parents or kids out there that you think you don't need help, you're wrong.
I used to say, to students, and you never know who's going to take offense. I would say, just come in and have us do it. We look at it every day. This is what we do. Just come and have us do it.
Trust the experts.
Yeah.
Do you have to have a?
This year, I definitely say that. You
Do you
don't
have
want
to
to do it
have
yourself.
a Social Security account?
Yes. Well, you don't need to. You don't have to. And in years past, that would really stall it if you don't have a Social Security number. You would put in all zeros, and then there was a process you would go through. This year, right under Social Security number, it says if you are, a citizen of an associated free state, check here if you don't have a Social Security number to input. And it's much more efficient than putting all zeros, and then the system doesn't understand why there's nothing in that cell. It's becoming much more efficient in terms of being able to do that, and that's part of the streamlined process. The only thing I've noticed is almost all students who just look at it, enter the Social Security number, they say, I'm a citizen, click, and it disappears out that number. So I say, read the full question. And it's a federal application. What I have noticed more than anything else with this application is you want to read the full question. Whoever wrote this was not a language major. It's a federal application.
Right.
It's written like a federal application. So when it says, is there a reason your parents would be unwilling to provide information, you have to say no. No, they wouldn't be unwilling, because they are willing to provide their information. So a lot of students will see parent, yes, click yes, and continue on. And it'll actually be under the impression then that they're independent students.
Trick questions.
Yeah, they're very confusing, right? Like most federal documents, Bart.
Yeah. Oh, I just did a passport application. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Can you do other federal documents?
I do not. I do not. But it's definitely something that you want to read thoroughly. But as you say, there's no shame in coming in and having us do it. It's what we've studied to do. It's what we do every day. So
people might have heard the governor's proposing free community college for everyone in Michigan. So are you afraid that people aren't going to apply for the federal aid?
They will always need us. The FAFSA is one thing that we do, but I would love to see that occur, because I think it would increase our traffic if more students were going, because it's still, the affordability is still, even with, more plans in place, more resources, students just still have that feeling, and it's not affordable. So I may not even consider it. I think if affordability were not a factor and everything else in place, they would come to see us more, because the admissions process is still complicated. Sure. Finding scholarships is still difficult. So
plus free college doesn't freak everything. There's going to be all the other stuff that they pay for.
We'll always have a need. So.
Awesome. We want to thank you so much, and again, encourage everyone to go see Brian at the College and Career Access Center on President's Day for the free FAFSA event. Thank you so much for being with us, and look forward to seeing you again soon. More of the morning show right after this quick break.